There is a wisdom written into your body, a silent message flowing within you from the moment you were born. Most people spend their entire lives looking outward for answers, for healing, for meaning. But the first truth is this: before you can master your life, you must understand the life that is already flowing inside you. Your blood, it is not simply red liquid. It is rhythm. It is memory. It is the unseen intelligence that connects your body to your emotions, your instincts to your choices, your past to your future. If you truly understood what your blood reveals, you would never live the same way again. This is not a speech about medical facts. This is an invitation to become aware, to see yourself not as a random being, but as a designed system waiting to be understood. So stay, listen with calmness, with openness, because what you will hear today has the potential to transform not just how you think, but how you move, how you eat, how you feel, and ultimately how you live. Let us begin this journey inward through the silent language of your blood. People often ask, who am I really? They search through books, through experiences, through the eyes of others, hoping to find a definition that feels right. But very few stop to look at what has been with them since birth, what flows inside them quietly without needing attention or applause: your blood. Your blood type is not just a label used in hospitals. It is a silent signature, a blueprint that holds more information than you might imagine. It carries messages from generations before you. It influences the way your immune system behaves, how you process stress, how you respond to certain foods, and even how you interact with people. It is not superstition, it is biology with awareness. When you begin to understand the tendencies associated with your blood type, something changes. You stop treating yourself as a generic being. You begin to honor the unique instructions your body came with. For example, some blood types naturally produce higher stress hormones when exposed to conflict, while others are more resistant. Some digest certain proteins with ease, while others are more reactive. These are not just random differences. They are personal instructions waiting to be read. In the same way that you would not drive a car without knowing how it works, it makes little sense to live in your body without understanding how it functions at its core. Your blood type is a part of that knowledge. It is the manual hidden in plain sight, but knowledge alone is not enough. It must be paired with awareness. You must observe yourself without judgment. When you feel drained in certain environments, is it just coincidence, or is it your body speaking to you, showing you what aligns with your inner structure? When you feel emotionally unstable after eating certain meals, is it just poor choice or a deeper imbalance between your nourishment and your nature? To live with awareness means to respect these messages, not to fight them, but to learn from them. When you know your blood type, you begin to move through life with clarity. You choose habits that support your inner chemistry, not oppose it. You form relationships with better understanding. You build routines that replenish rather than deplete. And perhaps most importantly, you begin to realize that self-mastery is not about becoming something else. It is about returning to what you already are and living in alignment with it, fully, consciously, and without resistance. This is where real transformation begins. If you want to understand your true nature, you cannot ignore the body. Thought alone is not enough. Clarity does not arise just from thinking. It comes when the body and the mind move in harmony. That is why I always say, movement is medicine, but only with awareness. Not every movement is healing. Not every exercise is beneficial. If your blood reveals a more sensitive balance, do not ignite it with chaos. Learn how to nourish it with gentleness. This is the art of self-knowledge in practice. Only through this awareness does movement become more than exercise. It becomes a ritual, a meditation, a way of life. And through this path, the body becomes not just stronger, but wiser. There is a silent relationship between what you eat and who you become. Every bite you take is not just food, it is information. It carries signals that your body must read, respond to, and process. And just as each person has a different rhythm, a different emotional landscape, so too does each person have a different biological need. Your blood type is one of the most powerful indicators of those needs. It guides how your body responds to certain foods, not from preference, but from design. You may have noticed that the same food that gives energy and clarity to one person might make another feel heavy, tired, or even anxious. Some people thrive on plant-based meals, Others feel weak without animal protein. It is not a matter of discipline or willpower. It is a matter of chemistry, your internal environment speaking to the outside world. When the food you consume is aligned with your blood's natural characteristics, it becomes nourishment. When it is not, it becomes disturbance. But many people eat without awareness. They eat what is trending, what others recommend, what tastes good in the moment. And then they wonder why the body becomes inflamed, the mind foggy, the emotions unstable. The answer is simple. When your diet works against your system, the system begins to resist. It cannot function freely. It struggles. This struggle may not appear overnight, but it accumulates. Slowly, energy drops, digestion weakens, sleep suffers, and over time, you begin to feel far from yourself, disconnected and depleted. Your blood type is like a compass. It points you toward the kinds of foods that support your immune system, your metabolic rhythm, and your emotional stability. And the more you observe yourself, the more these patterns become clear. It is not about restriction, it is about alignment. When you eat in harmony with your body's unique makeup, you are no longer fighting your biology. You are working with it. And that shift changes everything. Food then becomes more than just fuel. It becomes a tool for balance, for clarity, for vitality. You begin to feel lighter, not just in body, but in spirit. The mind becomes calm because the body is no longer under quiet stress. This is the power of conscious nourishment. But this path also requires humility. It requires the willingness to unlearn, to observe, to listen. You may have to let go of what you were told was good for you, and instead discover what is actually good for you. And that discovery is not found in books or trends. It is found in experience, in stillness, in honest attention to how your body responds. When you eat with awareness, you eat with respect, not just for the food, but for yourself. There is a moment in every journey when you begin to see that you are not simply living in a body, you are living through a system made of rhythms, instincts, chemistry, and memory. This system is not random. It is intelligent, sensitive, and deeply connected to the environment, to emotion, and to time itself. And yet, most people go through life without recognizing this truth. They believe they are only what they think or what they feel in a given moment. But if you do not understand how your system works, you are not truly living. You are only reacting. Your blood type is one part of this system, but it carries influence far beyond just physical health. It shapes the way your nervous system responds to fear, to joy, to connection. It influences how you recover from stress, how you interact with others, how you handle change. It is a subtle force, but once you begin to notice its effect, you start to understand why certain patterns repeat in your life. You see that your habits, your emotional triggers, even your ability to focus or relax, they are not only psychological, they are also physiological. The way to take back control is through conscious awareness of the system. When you know how your body is designed to function, you no longer blame yourself for your tendencies. You study them, you observe, and then, with time, you learn how to work with them rather than fight against them. This is not about changing who you are. It is about becoming more deeply who you are. But this transformation requires a shift in identity. You must stop seeing yourself as separate parts. The thinker, the eater, the mover, the feeler, and start seeing yourself as one unified system. A system where every choice has an effect, where every small awareness opens the door to balance, and the blood that flows through you silently and consistently is the foundation of that system. It is your inner river, connecting the body, the mind, and the... With this understanding, daily life becomes a practice. You move with intention, you eat with care, and you respond with clarity. There is no more randomness. There is rhythm. There is structure. And slowly peace begins to replace confusion. Not because you've become someone else, but because you've remembered who you already are. To live from this place is to walk with power, not the kind that controls others, but the kind that commands your own energy. The kind that brings stillness in chaos, direction in noise, and presence in distraction. And once you arrive here, you no longer need to search outside for validation. You already carry the wisdom within.